Hello. Come right on in. You're at Father Fish. Nice to have you with us.
For food in their tanks, I wonder if new hobbyists realize those people are auto water changing multiple times a day. Yeah, they don't. And that's really an issue, Chris. People think that the most important thing you can do for your fish is feed them. And the reality is that's the least important thing you can do for your fish. The 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 least important thing you can do for your fish is feed them. The most important thing you can do is create a balanced tank. And you cannot have a balanced tank if you overfeed because it will keep it out of balance indefinitely. It'll just make a mess. Overfeeding causes 99% of the problems that people have with their fish and results in more people quitting the hobby than any other single issue. And the industry is oblivious to it, oblivious. They keep trying to sell you chemicals and equipment to deal with overfeeding. Think about that a minute. They sell you all different manner of food and ask you to feed your fish not once, not twice, but 3 times a day. 3 times a day. They want you to feed your fish. 3 times a day. Now, the reality is, of course, that fish eat, process their food in about 2 hours, poop it out, and are ready to eat again. Fish are constantly hungry, constantly on the prowl for food. However, in nature, food is not all that plentiful. They have to work for it. If it's algae, they're competing with 1,000 other fish eating on that same little patch of algae. So they'll get tiny amounts for the effort they put in. If they're looking for little insects, they'll find one every hour or two, tiny ones. I'm not talking about big worms. I'm talking about microscopic shrimp, little tiny things. You never find a fish in the wild with its gut full of food unless it has lucked out and gotten something big to swallow, like another fish. Generally, when you cut that gut open and look inside it, there's usually nothing. If there is something, it'll be 1 or 2 little things, maybe a little shrimp, whatever. So they're eating constantly, but they're not eating anything like the amount of food you put in your tank. Let me say that again. Fish in the wild are eating constantly, but they're not eating anything close to the volume of food that you put in your tank. They're not used to that. It's not natural for them. If your fish's belly is bulging out when you feed them, they are substantially overfed. And when they poop that food out, 90% of it still has nutritional value, which means 90% of it is going to foul the water. It's going to foul the water. After they eat it, it will foul the water. You've seen the claims, our food doesn't foul the water. That's right, until it's eaten, and then it turns the water rotten. If you're feeding it so much that, it's all they can do to swim around 3 times a day. And what do? They want you to feed 3 times a day. And then when you have problems, which are absolutely inevitable, this is all part of the plan, you see. Then you come into the store, oh, my fish are sick. Oh, dear. Oh, how dreadful. Well, here, this will help. And they hand you, where is it? I've got it here. They hand you a container of Quick Cure or methylene blue or whatever it's going to be, the most expensive ones, the $20 one. Here, put this in, and you need a special filter cartridge. It's another $10. Put that in, and then you really need a conditioner, a water conditioner. So you walk out of there, $50 to $100 later, breathing deep, knowing you've spent a lot of money, but you're going to save the fish. And you go home and you read the directions carefully, and you use it very precisely and carefully, and you take a deep breath, and the next day you come down and look, and they're all dead. Everything is dead. So you go back to the store with your dead fish. And they say, oh my, I guess you were too late. Too late? You weren't too late, honey. You were too easily seduced by the lure of technology and medicine rather than husbandry, which is not a sexual thing. It's also maternal instinct. It's the same thing. It's understanding the real needs and the real condition of what you've got with this little tank and treating it in a way that's healthy and wholesome, that keeps everybody happy. So you don't dump a handful of food in. You feed it sparingly every other day, one time, instead of 20 times a week. You feed 3 times a week. Instead of big hands full, you feed small pinches. See the difference? And then by setting up your tank so it's producing life, generating life, supporting a full chain of life, you're providing opportunities for your fish, particularly your small fish, to be able to graze, to be able to find live food in that tank. So, yeah, overfeeding. It's a curse. It's a curse that is put upon you by an industry that is out of control, that no longer is interested in the proper and healthy care of fish, but is interested purely in finding ways to suck money out of your wallet. And that's literally true. And I don't think there's anything I find more discouraging than people in the hobby and shops and industrialists, manufacturers, who are insisting that you do things that create problems in order to spend money to solve those problems. It's really outrageous, and it needs to stop. It's fundamentally irresponsible, and it needs to stop. Well, I hope you found something you've never seen before. Have a great day. Nice having you with us. Come on back.